My last question to Adam. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask
Okay,
Ian some questions.
Sure.
So you talk about the importance of communication and the storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Tell the good story and then share it with us about your view about storytelling and the importance of it and communicate.
Yeah, we were discussing schooling, and he was mentioning he went to MIT, and I have many friends that went to MIT to study linguistics, the idea of the spoken word, how important it is to our society. Human nature would not be what it is without the word. Before there was words, if you'd said this, what is this? I don't know what this is. It's two. All of a sudden it became something. And we were talking about as storytellers, it's an amazing place that we found ourselves in. It's not necessarily entertainers, but as storytellers. And humanity would be a terrible, terrible place without stories.
Civilization. Well,
civilization would not be what it is. We would not be in this building with these amazing cameras and these incredible people and the clothes that we're wearing. The plane that I took, the 5 planes that I took to get here. And it's just an amazing opportunity, again, to tell stories day in and day out. And so I just thank you guys for listening to our stories and then finding out where it resonates differently with some people. Whether you're a boy, a girl, a husband, a wife, a father, a child. And it's really interesting that I get to speak with you guys and really sort of see what part, whether you're Team Damon, Team Stefan, Team Catherine, everyone has their own thing. And it's very cool to see.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool thing.
Okay,
and so also, you realize that you have so many fans all over the world, and so you know that you're very powerful and influential. So you realize your responsibility and also obligation because all these kids are learning from you, and you tell them something that they will just mold it in the future, right?
They do it. I mean, that's a really good question, because I think that a lot of people, and by the way, no one's judging anyone in my position who doesn't feel the need or have. Let me reverse that. I feel as if in this position we have a certain social responsibility to portray and help create, meaning empower and activate people, especially young people, because make no mistake about it, that the most underdeveloped, underutilized, and underappreciated group of people in the world are kids. Or I can rephrase that, young people. And for some reason, the world overlooks them, yet they will be running the world.
Right.
And I think that what I love about Vampire Diaries is that it speaks to such a young audience that it gives me the ability to say, not for my own personal gain, but for their own personal gain, that a world of compassion and education, activation, and empowerment is a far better world than one without those elements. And so it's given me an amazing thing. I've actually started my own foundation, the Ian Somerhalder Foundation, for habitat species and species conservation, literally helping protect the world that we all live in. Youth education, which is an amazing aspect, being able to educate and empower youth, and animal protection. Protecting our furry and feathered and slithery friends. Because again, like storytelling, a world without our animal companions would be awful. So it's an amazing place.
Yeah, that's amazing. Please allow me to translate. 那刚刚呢，张先生问了伊恩几个问题，然后说关于这个讲故事的问题。伊恩觉得有讲故事的人，让我们整个的世界变得不一样，让我们整个的人类，让我们整个人类文明不一样。那张总就继续问他，其实呢，像他这样一个在美国甚至在全世界有影响力的年轻人，他有一定的社会责任感、社会责任在他的肩膀上。那伊恩在这方面做的也非常好。那刚刚呢，他就跟我们分享说，他其实已经成立了他自己的一个基金，这个基金呢就会帮助一些这个年轻人的教育，还会帮助保护小动物 ，right？ 我翻译的应该还全面吧 ？OK， 那
就说这个年轻人是非常重要的，但是在我们的社会呢，可能把钱都花在别的地方，而在这个群体是花的最不够的，关注最不够的。那么他呢，像这么大的影响力，他就有这样的义务和责任来影响年轻人，因为年轻人将会 决定我们世界的未来。
没错，所以呢，我觉得所有的 fans 看到这样的有社会责任感的偶像，应该也是非常的开心。Okay, speaking of storytelling, I have some questions about Vampire Diary. First of all, do you believe in vampires? Do you think they actually exist?
I am one.
Of course you are. Please.
You want me to bite you and see?
I don't want to be bitten by thousands of your fans afterwards.
That's okay. You'll be a vampire. You can fight them off.
All right. So there's one more question I want to ask you about vampires. That what kind of characters do you think a vampire should have?
Kind of characteristics? Well, one of the cool things I think, and it goes back to storytelling, is being able to live throughout different types of history, different times. I personally would have loved to have lived in the 20s in the United States. Just an amazing time of fun and music, but the 20s, I would say between 20 to 29 before the stock market crash. Yeah, the 1920s. Yeah. But one thing I love about the characteristic that Damon has is he has that little thing where he can look at you in the eyes and make you do whatever he wants you to do.
Is that how he can do or you can do?
Well, I try. But unless the cameras are rolling, it doesn't necessarily work all the time. But I think that's a very fun component of life to have.
Is that one of the most attractive superpower for you?
I think it's pretty incredible.
OK， 那刚刚呢，我就问他，觉得这个世界上有没有吸血鬼？他说，我就是一个。当然了，他扮演的这个角色 Damon 呢，也是非常的深入人心。我问他，觉得吸血鬼应该有什么样的性格特征？他说了，这个吸血鬼他是生活在不同的年代、不同的时代，他可以用我们这个中国的俗话说就是穿越，可以穿越不同的时代，知道很多的事情。他可能自己如果希望的话，就想要活在1920年代的美国，他觉得那个时间非常的美好。然后呢，他还说有一点是吸血鬼有的这个一个 power， 他非常有的就是 Damon 看到一个人的时候，他可以用他的眼睛就让这个人做他想要做的事情。然后我问他说，这个是 Damon 的能力还是你的能力？然后他说他非常想要拥有这样的能力。
Okay, one more question. So you have so many fans, especially female fans, and among them so many beautiful women and lady. And then are you attracted or tempted, and how can you keep a very stable and what's your girlfriend or your emotional status?
It's very, very. Make sure this is on. It is exactly. Yeah, it is a very, very interesting way to live because the amount of love and female energy that sort of surrounds the sphere of Vampire Diaries. You know when you go swimming in a really warm, beautiful pool and you just don't want to get out? It's kind of like that.
Please make it more obvious to understand.
It's a lot of fun and requires a phenomenal amount of discipline, and I think that appreciation is far better than just how do I put this properly?
Taking advantage of it.
There you go. I think appreciation is more effective than taking advantage of it, and also too, it comes with you have to maintain a great personal amount of energy to do what we do and travel the way that we travel, and I'm very fortunate that I've learned in my old age. You know what? I'm very spiritual. I meditate a lot, figuring out, working through how to relax your mind and your body. And
Christian or Buddhism, what's your religion?
I'm just spiritual. And learning. I learned this from my mother for many years. learning how to meditate at a very young age. My mother's very spiritual and half American Indian, and so who actually came from China.
Wow.
You know, the Native Americans, absolutely,
Yes, that's
during
true.
the Ice Age, came over the Bering
That's
Strait,
true. That's true.
and they inhabited all of North America. So I think it's a huge thing, and I try and tell that to young people often, that learning a phenomenal way in this, because we live in this crazy high stress environment now. Work very hard, buy this, buy that, do this, do that, fly around the world. It leaves your body and your mind a little chaotic.
Yeah.
So learning, especially at a young age, to realize how to calm your mind and your body, I think it leads to a much healthier life.
I agree. I think this is very important to translate. This is a great question. And I also want to ask one more question to Mr. Zhang. Is that a consulting for your own problem? Because he also have a lot of female fans in China. And I know it's true, right? OK， 所以刚刚呢，张总问了Ian一个很有趣的问题，说Ian呢，他这么的有名，这么多的粉丝，然后也有很多美女都是他的粉丝。那我们今天现场也有一位我们的美女演员也在现场，跟我们大家打个招呼好吗
？Hello， 大家好，我是刘雨欣。
对，然后这样多的诱惑，他是怎么样面对的？那在面对这一切诱惑的时候呢，他是怎么能够保持自己的状态？然后还有他跟他女朋友之间的关系，所有这一切。然后Ian的回答也很有趣，他觉得说，他是一个非常怎么说？他经常会 meditate， 就是会冥想，会做一些这种跟自己心灵有关的对话。他也觉得在现在这个世界是非常。怎么说呢？非常复杂，非常繁杂，每天都要面对很多。如果你把自己放在这个混乱的这个世界当中呢，就会非常的迷失。他觉得如果把自己这个摘出来一点，可能会活得更健康一点。而且他说了一句非常重要的话，就是他对于他的 fans 来说，他更多的是去珍惜珍爱他们，而且是这个感谢他们对他的支持，而不是要占他们的便宜。
对，就是补充，就是刚才他回答这个问题的几个关键词哈，一个是说他那个在这种这么多美女或者女色的这种叫做 female energy，right？
Yeah, female energy.
像一个游泳池的很温暖的水在里边游泳，
对。
然后呢就很醉人，所以很不想出来，这是一个确实是有这样的感受。
对
啊，然后但是呢，别跟我联系。但是呢，另外呢，就说那个，但是呢，就说有两个词，一个是就说要那个去appreciate， 对，像你翻译了，就说那个要有纪律，有 discipline。discipline 啊，这
个是您说的吧？
他说的 discipline。
你提醒他说的。
No, he said discipline.
OK，
要有纪律，同时呢要有 appreciation， 而不是说去 take advantage. You said that.
对。
So that's yeah.
So the three of us have the perfect answer to it.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, is it helpful enough?
It's pretty helpful. I mean, discipline is very important.
OK， 刚刚这个张总呢又把刚刚几个关键词给我们总结了一下，而且他自己也觉得这几个建议对他也很受用，对吗？OK， all right. So there's another question about the previous thing that you discussed about responsibility, social responsibilities. We all know that you love little animals and you have a lot of cats, and you found one of your cats on set when you were shooting Lost.
Yeah, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii. So could you please share with us some of your story with your little pets, cats?
Well, my life wouldn't be the same without them. I think, like children, they teach us a lot about the world. They teach us we have compassion. More compassion with them. Our lives are fuller. But when we were shooting Lost, it was literally 5-something in the morning, and there was this little creature, this little orange cat. It was a feral jungle animal. Been living for, maybe 500 years. These animals have been living on these islands. And this little cat was standing on the beach, waiting for the wave would come in, the wave would go away, and when the wave would go away, it would leave these little crabs and he would run down. This is a cat this big, and he would step on the pincher and bite it, and then walk back as the other wave would come. And he would sit there, and he would pull off the little claw, and he would eat it. And I sat there for 20 minutes watching this animal, just thinking, man, this little guy's a better fisherman than I am, and he's, he weighs 2 pounds. And I realized that we, as human beings, tend to forget that we've only been on this earth for such a small amount of time, and that animals have been here far longer than we have, and yet in the last 100 years, we've destroyed this place more than anything else in the world since 65 million years ago, since the dinosaurs. And I think that it raises a question that we all need to ask ourselves, whether in business and our home life and our own sort of personal space. What is it that we truly need in life? And all the things that we want, do we really need them? Do we, and it's just a nice little meditation to think about that having things in your life that truly give you something, like an animal, taking care of it, a person, a friend, a relative, someone as a pen pal in some, program in Africa or something, that there's so much joy in giving and receiving love from another creature, rather than, and I say this as I'm in the consumer business, but rather than just things, electronics, clothing, shoes, cars, it's just a nice question to ask yourself, what is it that I really need? And what is it that I really love? And what do they give me? And I ask this a lot of times with a lot of young people that we work with at the Ian Somerhalder Foundation. And we ask these little guys, very young kids, to write down what it really is that they need. And usually they'll say food, clothes, mommy, Spot, like the dog or the cat, and school, really, or food.
Yeah.
And as we get older, you say, what is it that we need? And all of a sudden, it's car, house, nice sunglasses, new cell phone, better shoes. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And I just love that when I go home after shooting 15 hours in the Vampire Diaries, that I can go home and lay on my floor, and these little creatures just walk all over me. And I'm reminded that love and compassion and appreciating that and giving it back is really what makes the world go around. Because even a character like Damon, and I remember this all the time, especially this guy in season 1 who killed everybody. I mean, he was biting and killing and sucking blood and ripping off heads, and he enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, what he was in search of was his love. That's what drove his craziness, was all about love and the compassion for this woman. And I think about that all the time. And so I always ask people when they ask me these questions, just to think about that. What is it that I need? What is it that I want? And what is it that I love? And I think if you kind of write them down, you'll come up with you'll see sort of how you view your life, and it's a really cool, positive thing.
Okay. Oh, that's a long answer for me to translate. Okay, 刚才我问 Ian 关于他，大家都知道他有很多的宠物。他在拍《迷失》的时候呢，也捡到了一只小猫。然后呢，他也有很多其他的动物，非常喜欢小动物，很有爱心的一个男孩子。他说，他当时在拍这个《迷失》的时候是在夏威夷，他看到一个小猫在海滩上，这个浪打过来，把小螃蟹送到岸上，然后浪回去的时候，他就去追那个小螃蟹，一口把它吃掉。然后等浪回来的时候，他再跑开，他就坐在那边看着这个小猫看了很久，他就觉得哇，这个小猫太厉害了。于是呢，他就把这个小猫收养了。而这些小动物呢，给他的我觉得像是 it's kind of like a love reminder， 就是。remind， 然后提醒他，其实在人的生活里面，我们需要的东西并不是很多，就是吃的、喝的，然后一些爱，一些这种小动物，还有学习知识、上学，让我们的心灵得到满足，也就是这些基本的东西。那 当我们长大以后，走入了这个世界，在这个世界当中，有很多的东西会让我们迷失。比如说，我们想要更多的车、更多的房子、更多的新的眼镜，或者是更多的新的鞋子。其实这些都没有那么大的意义。而他说，他每一次最开心的就是，当他每次拍完《吸血鬼日记》10几个小时回到家里，躺在地板上。然后这个小动物就走到他旁边，然后就一直在他的身上爬来爬去，然后他就感觉哇，这个东西提醒了他一个爱和被爱的感觉，然后这种感觉呢，能够让他一直有这种爱和被爱的能力，和让他找到这个在爱当中的满足。所以呢，我觉得他真的是一个非常给大家很多正能量的一位明星 ，right？ 好，现在呢，我觉得我们的问题也问了半天了，我们的粉丝一定有很多的问题想要问Ian。